Imagine this for a second. You head to a local garden center and drop $50 on a beautiful apple tree. You bring it home, choose the perfect sunny spot, plant it carefully, water it consistently, and take great care of it. Then you wait. 1 year passes. Then 2. Then 3. Still no apples. Just a tree occupying hundreds of square feet in your yard without giving you a single piece of fruit. Now picture something different. Your neighbor walks over with a bowl packed with fresh berries, figs, and even hazelnuts, all harvested from compact bushes she planted just a year and a half ago. Most of them aren't even shoulder height yet. And here's the kicker, she spent less on all 9 bushes combined than you spent on that one apple tree. That's not hype. That's what happens when you shift your focus from traditional fruit trees to high-yield, food-producing shrubs. Today, I'm going to introduce you to 9 powerhouse bushes that can transform a backyard into a productive food system. Whether you're building a backyard food forest, starting a survival garden, developing a homestead, or just trying to grow more food in a small suburban space, these plants deliver serious results. Let's jump in. Bush number 1, Goumi berry, Elaeagnus multiflora. I'm starting with a plant that might be one of the most overlooked edible shrubs in North America, the Goumi berry. Most gardeners have never grown one, and that's exactly why it deserves attention. Goumi is a deciduous shrub native to East Asia. It typically grows between 5 to 8 feet tall and wide and thrives in USDA hardiness zones 4 through 9. While it can produce fruit on its own, yields improve when planted with another for cross-pollination. What makes it impressive? It starts producing fruit in just its 2nd or 3rd year. A mature plant can yield 10 to 15 pounds of small, bright red berries each season. But the real magic is happening underground. Goumi is a nitrogen-fixing plant. Its roots form a symbiotic relationship with soil bacteria that convert atmospheric nitrogen into a usable form in the soil. In simple terms, it fertilizes itself, and improves the soil for nearby plants at the same time. Studies and field observations suggest that planting Goumi near fruit trees can noticeably boost overall productivity. So while you're harvesting pounds of antioxidant-rich berries, the plant is quietly enhancing soil fertility around it. The fruit itself tastes similar to tart cherries when fully ripe, sweet with a pleasant tang. They're rich in vitamins A, C, and E, along with beneficial fatty acids. You can eat them fresh, turn them into jams, bake them into desserts, or dry them for later use. On top of that, Goumi is resilient. It tolerates poor soil, drought, and even urban pollution. In many regions, it faces very few pest or disease problems. If you're designing an edible landscape, building a food forest, or planning a permaculture system, this is one shrub worth serious consideration. And we're just getting started. It feeds the soil at the same time it feeds you. A rare combination among fruiting plants. Bush number 2, Honeyberry, Haskap. Next up is a berry bush that holds a title no other fruit plant can claim. It produces the earliest harvest of the entire growing season. The honeyberry, also known as Haskap, starts ripening weeks before strawberries, and before almost anything else in the garden. While most plants are just waking up from winter, honeyberries are already setting fruit. In many regions, you'll be harvesting them 2 to 3 weeks before your first strawberry turns red. If you've ever stared at a still bare garden in early spring wishing for something fresh to pick, this plant changes the game. What truly sets honeyberry apart is its cold tolerance. These shrubs can survive winter temperatures as low as -40 degrees Fahrenheit. Even their open blossoms can handle drops to around 14 degrees Fahrenheit without significant damage. Very few fruiting plants can match that level of resilience. They thrive in zones 2 through 7, making them ideal for growers who've been told their climate is too cold for reliable fruit production. A mature bush can yield anywhere from 5 to 15 pounds of fruit depending on the variety. They typically begin producing in year 2 or 3 and can remain productive for 30 years or longer. The berries are elongated and deep blue, with a flavor that blends blueberry, grape, and raspberry notes. They're excellent fresh, frozen, or turned into preserves. One crucial detail: honeyberries require cross-pollination. A single bush won't produce much on its own. You'll need at least 2 compatible varieties that bloom at the same time. Popular pairings include Boreal Beauty with Boreal Beast, or Aurora with Honeybee. Get the pollination right, and these compact shrubs will surprise you with how heavily they produce. For cold climate gardeners, or anyone wanting to stretch their harvest season earlier into spring, honeyberry is hard to beat. Bush number 3, Nanking Cherry. If you want a plant that doubles as ornamental landscaping and serious food production, the Nanking cherry deserves attention. Originally introduced to the United States in the late 1800s, it was once widely grown before commercial farming shifted toward fruits bred for shipping and long shelf life. But for home growers and homesteaders, this shrub is a hidden treasure. In early spring, even before leaves appear, Nanking cherry bursts into dense clusters of white and blush pink blossoms. It's one of the most visually striking flowering shrubs you can grow. By early summer, those blossoms transform into small, bright red cherries. They're about half an inch wide, smaller than standard sweet cherries, but wonderfully flavorful with a tart-sweet balance that works beautifully in pies, jams, jellies, syrups, and even homemade wine. A mature bush can produce anywhere from 15 to 50 pounds of fruit depending on size and growing conditions. Even better, they begin fruiting within 2 to 3 years after planting. These shrubs typically grow 6 to 10 feet tall and are hardy in zones 2 through 7. They tolerate extreme cold, summer heat, drought, and a wide range of soil types. Their adaptability makes them reliable across diverse climates. Like honeyberries, Nanking cherries require cross-pollination. So plant at least 2 bushes. Space them 6 to 10 feet apart and you'll create a productive edible hedge that can last for decades. With proper care, they can live up to 50 years. That's half a century of harvests from one planting. Bush number 4, Serviceberry, Saskatoon. Now let's talk about a North American native that often gets overlooked in the US, even though it has been grown commercially in Canada for decades, the serviceberry, also known as Saskatoon. If you've ever hiked in northern forests or across prairie regions and sampled dark purple berries from a wild shrub, you may have tasted serviceberry without realizing it. But cultivated varieties are a major step up from their wild relatives, producing larger, sweeter, juicier fruit and far heavier yields. And we're just scratching the surface of what this one can do. Bush number 4, Saskatoon Berry. If you want a fruit shrub that rewards you for decades, Saskatoon Berry is hard to beat. A mature plant can yield anywhere from 10 to 30 pounds of fruit per season. Field trials have shown that strong-performing varieties regularly produce over 10 pounds per bush. These shrubs typically begin fruiting within 2 to 4 years after planting and reach peak production around year 8. Once established, they can remain productive for 20 years or even longer. What truly makes Saskatoon special is the flavor. Many people describe it as a blend of blueberry richness with a subtle almond-like note. That mild nutty sweetness comes from compounds in the tiny seeds, giving the berries a taste that stands out from anything else in the garden. They're versatile in the kitchen too, delicious fresh, excellent in pies and muffins, easy to dry like raisins, and perfect for jams or syrups. For cold climate growers, this plant is a powerhouse. Saskatoons tolerate extreme winter temperatures and handle a wider soil pH range than blueberries. If your soil is too alkaline for blueberries, this shrub can be an ideal alternative. It's self-fertile, low maintenance, and incredibly reliable. You can grow it as a hedge, a feature shrub, or even train it into a small tree form. In spring, it produces beautiful white blossoms. In fall, the foliage turns vibrant shades of orange. To anyone passing by, it looks like a high-end ornamental plant, but you'll know it's quietly producing pounds of fruit every summer. Bush number 5, Jostaberry. Jostaberry is the result of careful plant breeding aimed at combining the best qualities of two popular berries. It's a hybrid between black currant and gooseberry, originally developed in Germany. The goal was simple: keep the rich flavor and heavy yields, increase fruit size, and eliminate thorns and common disease problems. The result is a highly productive, easy-to-grow shrub. The berries are large, deep purple to nearly black, and about the size of small grapes. Their flavor is sweet-tart and complex, richer and smoother than either parent plant. A mature bush can produce 10 to 20 pounds of fruit per year. It's self-fertile, so one plant will bear fruit on its own, though planting multiple bushes can improve harvest size. Fruiting often begins within 1 to 2 years, with full production around year 5. One of the biggest advantages: it's completely thornless. Anyone who has harvested traditional gooseberries knows what a difference that makes. In addition, Jostaberry shows strong resistance to common issues like powdery mildew and leaf diseases. The shrubs grow about 3 to 6 feet tall, tolerate cold winters, and perform well in full sun or partial shade. The berries are rich in vitamin C and are excellent for jams, pies, wine, or freezing for later use. If currants or gooseberries have ever felt high maintenance or intimidating, Jostaberry offers a simpler alternative with fewer problems. Bush number 6, Rosa rugosa, rugosa rose. Most gardeners think of roses purely as ornamentals. But Rosa rugosa is far more than just a decorative plant. After the flowers fade in late summer, this shrub produces large rose hips, often much bigger than those of other rose species. These bright red hips are extremely nutrient-dense and are especially known for their exceptionally high vitamin C content. Beyond vitamin C, they contain antioxidants, carotenoids, and other beneficial plant compounds. Historically, rose hips have even been used during times of food shortages as a natural source of nutrients. Rosa rugosa grows into a dense, thorny shrub about 4 to 6 feet tall. It's remarkably tough, tolerant of wind, sandy soil, cold climates, and minimal care. It spreads by suckers and can form a thick hedge that doubles as a natural barrier. The fragrant pink or white flowers are edible, and the petals can be used in teas or infused into syrups. The hips are typically harvested after the first frost, when they soften slightly and turn bright red. They can be dried for tea, cooked into syrup, or processed into jam. It's a beautiful, functional plant that produces food while serving as landscaping and even security. Bush number 7, Goji berry. Goji berries aren't just trendy health food, they're genuinely nutrient-dense. They contain antioxidants, essential amino acids, vitamin A, vitamin C, iron, and zinc. For centuries, they've played a role in traditional herbal practices across Asia. Fresh goji berries have a unique flavor, slightly sweet with a mild tomato-like note and a subtle berry finish. You can eat them straight off the bush, dry them for later, toss them into smoothies or oatmeal, mix them into trail blends, or steep them into tea. Here's something many growers don't realize: goji plants fruit on new growth, which means they benefit from pruning each year. A good trim encourages more productive shoots. They also spread through underground runners, so give them room to expand or install a root barrier to keep them contained. Even the leaves are edible. They can be used fresh as greens or dried for tea, meaning you harvest from both the fruit and the foliage. If you're designing a high-nutrition garden focused on resilience and calorie efficiency, goji deserves a spot. If you'd like, I can now